The awakening of mental power. Most people live their entire lives never truly realizing the incredible power they hold within their own mind. They move through the world as if chained by invisible forces, slaves to doubt, fear, and outside influence. But every once in a while, someone awakens to a terrifying truth, that the mind, once mastered, becomes a weapon so powerful it can bend circumstances, influence destiny, and command respect. Imagine for a moment what it would mean to build a mind so strong, so disciplined, and so unshakable that it unsettles everyone around you. A mind that refuses to bow to fear. A mind that cannot be manipulated by the opinions of others. A mind that walks into any situation with absolute clarity, unbreakable confidence, and a quiet force that makes people stop and pay attention. This is not a fantasy. This is what Napoleon Hill described as the ultimate mastery, the complete control over one's thoughts, emotions, and inner dialogue. But here's the harsh reality. Most people will never reach this state. They will spend their lives distracted, scattered, and enslaved by their environment. They wake up reacting to the world instead of commanding it. They consume endless noise, opinions, and entertainment, but they never take the time to discipline their own thoughts. And because of this, they remain weak. They remain average. They remain predictable. If you are listening to this right now, you already sense that you were not meant for mediocrity. Deep inside, you know you carry something greater, a power waiting to be unlocked. But unlocking it requires something most people fear, the courage to train and master your mind. You must confront the chaos inside yourself and transform it into order. You must silence the voices of doubt and replace them with unshakable conviction. You must learn to control the only thing you truly have power over, your own thoughts. Napoleon Hill once wrote that, "The human mind has no limitations, except those which we accept." That sentence contains the key to everything. Every limitation you think you have, whether it is fear, lack of confidence, or external circumstances, is nothing but a belief you have accepted. The moment you reject those false limitations and replace them with empowering beliefs, the architecture of your entire reality begins to shift. But make no mistake, this path is not easy. To build a mind so strong it scares people, you must be willing to do what most people will not. You must practice discipline daily. You must guard your thoughts as if they were treasures. You must learn to direct your imagination toward what you want, instead of allowing it to replay your fears. You must become the master of your own inner world. Ask yourself, what does the average person do when life becomes difficult? They complain. They blame others. They drown themselves in distractions. But the one who has mastered their mind responds differently. They do not crumble under pressure. They become sharper. They do not react emotionally to every challenge. They pause, they think, and they act with intention. And this is precisely why such individuals appear almost frightening to others. Their calm confidence feels unnatural. Their certainty feels intimidating. Their silence speaks louder than words. Right now, as you listen, you are standing at the threshold of two paths. One leads to a life of mediocrity, a mind enslaved by fear and opinion, drifting wherever the world pushes it. The other leads to mastery, a mind disciplined, unshakable, and powerful beyond measure. Which path will you choose? Understand this. Every great leader, every visionary, every person who has ever changed the course of history, began by mastering the battlefield of the mind. Before they built empires, they built inner strength. Before they influenced the world, they conquered themselves. And you have that same potential. But potential means nothing without action. To unlock your hidden power, you must begin today, with one simple but profound decision, to stop letting the world control your thoughts and to start controlling them yourself. From this moment on, refuse to think like the masses. Refuse to accept weakness. Refuse to give your power away. Instead, rise above the noise. Create silence within. Focus your energy. And step into the rare company of those who have built a mind so strong it unsettles everyone around them. Because when you do, life will never be the same again. The art of mental discipline. If the first step is to awaken to the power of your mind, the second step is to learn how to discipline it. A powerful mind is not created by accident. It is built through deliberate practice, daily habits, and ruthless consistency. Just as a warrior sharpens his sword every day, you must sharpen your thoughts until they become weapons of precision. Napoleon Hill often spoke of autosuggestion, the practice of feeding your subconscious mind with intentional thoughts, repeated over and over until they become your reality. Your subconscious does not question. It does not judge. It does not decide whether something is good or bad, possible or impossible. It simply accepts what you feed it, and then works tirelessly to manifest it into the physical world. This is both a gift and a danger, because if you feed your mind fear, it will create circumstances that validate that fear. If you repeat to yourself that you are weak, unworthy, or incapable, your subconscious will accept it as truth and shape your reality to match. But if you discipline yourself to plant seeds of strength, courage, and success, your subconscious will work with equal force to bring those beliefs to life. Think about the average person. They repeat negative affirmations all day without realizing it. I can't afford this. I'll never be good enough. I'm just unlucky. These phrases are not harmless. They are commands to the subconscious mind. And the subconscious obeys every command. This is why so many live trapped in cycles of failure, because they themselves have ordered their subconscious to keep them there. The disciplined mind, however, is different. It understands that every thought is a seed. It understands that repetition is power. So instead of carelessly planting weeds, it deliberately plants roses. It repeats, with conviction, I am strong. I am capable. I am destined for success. Every day, I grow more disciplined, more focused, and more powerful. And with each repetition, these ideas sink deeper, until they become unshakable truth. But autosuggestion is only one part of mental discipline. You must also control what you allow into your mind from the outside world. Every conversation, every piece of news, every song, every movie, they all carry energy. They all plant ideas. If you are careless with what you consume, your mind becomes cluttered and weak. But if you guard it fiercely, feeding it only with what strengthens you, your inner world becomes a fortress. Consider this. Most people are addicted to distraction. They cannot spend 5 minutes in silence without reaching for their phone. They cannot go a day without gossip, entertainment, or useless noise. And then, they wonder why their minds feel scattered, anxious, and powerless. You cannot build a strong mind in chaos. You can only build it in clarity. This is why solitude is essential. This is why silence is sacred. When you withdraw from the noise of the world, you give your mind the chance to breathe, to reset, to sharpen. The greatest leaders of history all understood this. They valued time alone. They meditated, reflected, and practiced stillness. Because they knew that clarity is born in silence, and power is born in clarity. Discipline also means confronting your emotions. The average person is ruled by anger, fear, envy, and doubt. They lash out when provoked. They crumble when rejected. They lose control when pressured. But the one who has mastered their mind does not surrender to emotion. They observe it. They understand it. And then they direct it. They can feel fear, but still act with courage. They can feel anger, but still respond with reason. This is true power, not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of it. The mind, like a muscle, grows stronger with resistance. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you grow. Every time you control your reaction instead of losing it, you grow. Every time you hold focus while others scatter, you grow. And soon, the growth compounds. The discipline that once felt difficult becomes natural. The focus that once felt forced becomes effortless. Until one day, you wake up realizing that you have become something rare, a person in complete control of their own mind. And when you reach that level, you are no longer ordinary. You are no longer predictable. You are no longer at the mercy of the world. You become a force unto yourself. A person whose calm presence unsettles the chaotic. A person whose certainty intimidates the uncertain. A person whose silence speaks louder than the loudest voices. This is the art of mental discipline. And it is the foundation upon which greatness is built. The subconscious blueprint. The mind has two levels, the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious mind is the thinker, logical, analytical, questioning. But the subconscious mind is the doer. It is the engine that drives your habits, your beliefs, and ultimately, your results. The subconscious is the soil, and your thoughts are the seeds. Whatever you plant, whether roses or weeds, will grow. Most people live with a subconscious filled with weeds. Seeds of fear planted by their parents. Seeds of doubt planted by teachers. Seeds of limitation planted by society. And because they never take the time to uproot those weeds, their lives are dominated by them. They sabotage themselves without even realizing why. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply. He wrote that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the human mind and infinite intelligence. In other words, the subconscious is the bridge between you and the universal power that shapes reality. If you program it with weakness, the bridge collapses. But if you program it with strength, the bridge becomes a highway through which abundance flows. So how do you reprogram the subconscious? First, through repetition. Every thought you hold consistently becomes a belief. Every belief repeated long enough becomes a reality. Second, through emotion. The subconscious does not respond to dry, lifeless thoughts. It responds to feelings. This is why affirmations must be charged with emotion. You cannot simply whisper, "I am strong." You must say it with fire, with conviction, until every cell of your being feels it. Another powerful method is visualization. When you vividly imagine yourself achieving your goals, your subconscious cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. It begins to accept the vision as truth and works to bring it about. The greatest athletes, performers, and leaders in history have used this technique. They saw themselves winning long before the world ever saw it. But perhaps the most important principle is faith. Not blind faith, but the deep knowing that your thoughts, once planted and nurtured, must eventually manifest. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever could. When you allow doubt into your subconscious, it strangles the seed before it has a chance to grow. But when you replace doubt with unwavering faith, the seed flourishes and life rearranges itself to match your belief. Understand this. The subconscious mind does not care what you plant. It will grow anything. If you plant fear, you harvest failure. If you plant courage, you harvest opportunity. If you plant self-pity, you harvest stagnation. If you plant determination, you harvest victory. The choice is always yours. This is why those who master their subconscious appear almost superhuman. While the average person is ruled by old programming, the master has rewritten their code. They no longer act from fear or limitation. They act from strength, clarity, and power. And because the subconscious controls 95% of behavior, this reprogramming changes everything. Your destiny is not written in the stars. It is written in the language of your subconscious. And you hold the pen. The fearless mind. When you have awakened your power, disciplined your thoughts, and reprogrammed your subconscious, you arrive at the final stage, fearlessness. This does not mean the absence of fear. No human being is completely without fear. It means the ability to move forward regardless of fear, to stand unshaken in the face of uncertainty, to remain calm while the world trembles. A fearless mind is a liberated mind. It is no longer chained by the opinions of others. It no longer seeks validation. It no longer fears failure, because it understands that failure is not the end, but a teacher. The fearless mind does not waste energy worrying about what might go wrong. It directs all energy toward making things go right. This kind of presence unsettles people. It intimidates them, because deep down, they know they have surrendered to fear, while you have transcended it. They see in you a reflection of what they could be, but have not yet become. That is why a truly strong mind often provokes discomfort, not because it is arrogant, but because it is free. Napoleon Hill said, "You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be." To live this truth is to become untouchable. External events may shake others, but not you. Opinions may sway others, but not you. Fear may paralyze others, but not you. And once you reach this state, life transforms. Opportunities open because people sense your confidence. Respect follows because people feel your certainty. Success comes because you no longer waste energy on fear, but channel it into decisive action. But perhaps the greatest gift of the fearless mind is peace. While others live in chaos, you walk in calm. While others are prisoners of worry, you are free. And this peace is not fragile. It cannot be stolen, because it comes from within. This is the ultimate destination of the journey, to build a mind so strong, so disciplined, so fearless, that it not only creates success, but radiates a presence that inspires and unsettles at the same time. You are not meant to live small. You are not meant to be ruled by fear. You are meant to master your mind, to unlock your power, and to live a life that proves what is possible when a human being fully awakens. So the question remains, will you stay asleep or will you rise? Will you remain controlled or will you take control? Will you settle for mediocrity or will you build a mind so strong it scares people? The choice is yours. And the time is now.